Okay, so let me just talk about the crowning energy first. The crowning energy is something that you are thinking about, things that are weighing heavily on your mind, okay? So we think of this as like the head, and this is like the consciousness. This is something that's already in the picture. So that's how I usually interpret, this spread. So the crowning energy is something that you're thinking about heavily. We have here the hangman in the reverse position. This is kind of like coming out of a very, very uncomfortable situation in order to start anew. This is like if you have been waiting on resolution from another person, you're no longer waiting. Decisions have been reached, and you're slowly like getting off the floor or getting off the chair in order to jumpstart new things. Okay, so you were stuck in limbo waiting on somebody or something, and you might have been in a situations where you were weighing out the pros and cons. Do I stay or do I go? Or what do I do in this specific situation? And we have here the chariot in the reverse position. First of all, in the mundane sense, it could deal with physically traveling to see somebody. I feel a lot of you might be seeing somebody from a distance. A lot of you might be dating somebody who is racially, culturally, linguistically different from you. So there is that dilemma as well. Like things get lost in translation. So a lot of the times our feelings can't really be expressed if we don't have a common tongue. So I feel like that might have been a challenge. It's sort of like, this back and forth that's happening between you and another person. And even though they say one thing, you say another thing, it feels almost as if some things were lost in translation. It's almost as if you couldn't really understand 100%. And so you weren't really sure 100% how they feel. You weren't really sure. Like, how you feel about them. And I feel like you weren't ready to invest 100%. You were waiting on them. And so something happened for this month, or is going to happen for this month in February, where you're going to know if you can proceed ahead. You're going to know if these barriers, these differences between us, if they're too strong, are we, going to last, or are we just going to stop the relationship from happening altogether? So with the chariot in the reverse position, it basically indicates some type of a stoppage, some type of a pause. Whatever was accelerated in the past, I feel like you're weighing out the pros and cons to figure out if it's worth pursuing, because two people, two entities are too different from each other, and because of it they can't work together as a unit. So I feel like you're dealing with somebody that you are very, very attracted to, but in terms of like being able to work together in a relationship or together as a unit, it might have been quite challenging. Okay, coming in your past position, and this is something that you have left behind in the past, we have here the 10 of cups in the reversed, as well as the 5 of cups in the reverse as well. So the 10 of cups, yeah, this is the 10 of cups in the reverse position. So this is a situation that is usually indicative of like a family. Two people met, got together, joined together in some type of a union, some type of a matrimony. You might have lived together with this person, or you might have been married to this person. When it shows up in the reverse position, it's kind of like a situation where you're unhappily staying together, or you have recently divorced and, this person is no longer in your life. And even though this person is no longer in your life, there's still a sense of sadness, a sense of regret, a sense of like nostalgia for the past. It's not coming in so strongly, but I do feel that it's still something, Geminis have very, very sentimental ties. And when you love, it's almost like you're born looking for your other half. So when you find somebody that you have this 10 of cups, this apex of the emotional experience with, it's really hard to overcome it. And it's really hard to let them go, even though it's in your best interest, because I feel like the love has run out in that relationship. There's still that sense of nostalgia, self-doubt. Did I do the right thing? So I feel like a lot of you have recently disbanded a union with another person. And which brings us to the present situation. We have here the 3 of coins in the reverse. And the Three of Coins in the reverse is a situation where, there's a breakdown in communication, breakdown in the union, and breakdown in the financial entanglement as well. So if you have recently decided, okay, let's get separated or let's get divorced, this is kind of like the stage where you both are sitting down with a lawyer and you're trying to decide who owns what, who gets what, and how assets are divided between people. It's not a card about cooperation, so there might still be a little bit of strife lingering in your life. And I also feel like some of you might have transitioned into a new relationship while you were dealing with the separation of this relationship, while you were trying to extract yourself, while you were trying to decide what to do. And now that the, divorce is over, then you're thinking about moving ahead with the new person. And it's also linked up here with the Four of Wands, which basically means, it's a breakdown in some type of family unit, something that you've built together with another person. Now things are being liquidated. Two people are trying to go their separate ways, as well as people deciding to, split assets. So it's corroborating the same thing pretty much. And I feel like, I'm sensing there's a lot of cultural or even like just innate incompatibilities between people. You might have loved the other person, very much, but for whatever reason, there were just difficulties in navigating each other, it's like, I feel like long distance. And then I also see like a cultural, linguistic, spatial divide. And I feel like the challenges in the relationship was that innately you both were not compatible. And also career-wise, you both have wanted different things. It seems like to me. So it feels like, there once was a lot of love involved, and that's why you're still nostalgic for the past. And so in the foundation here, the foundation is something that you know to be true. This is a relationship that's lacking in common goals, common purpose. You both are not in agreement when it comes to, who does what, and when it comes to like working together as a unit, having a common goal, having a common ambition and a common purpose. So there's a lot of incompatibility piled up, and I feel like it made the relationship feel a little bit like an obligation. It made the relationship feels almost burdensome in whatever way. And with the sun in the reverse position, it's almost like somebody's ego got in the way. Okay, somebody's ego like greatly affected the relationship. And as a result, the relationship was all about one person rather than than being about two people wanting to work towards like a common goal. So I feel like there has been a situation where somebody overpowers somebody else. That's what it seems like. And it's linked up as well with the Seven of Cups in the reverse. So I feel like this, within this past relationship, it seems as if, like ideals versus like expectations, right? Like I'm almost sensing it's like when you meet somebody new and, you put them on a pedestal. And with the Seven of Cups, it's a card about, idealism. When it shows up in the reverse, it's kind of like these fantasies are falling down. Like they're basically fantasies being brought to reality, fantasies being brought to a realistic focus. And you're starting to see the person for who they are. And then you might realize that they were all about themselves. They were all about them. And they didn't care about the relationship as a unit. So I feel like there might have been some ego struggles, like a power play at hand here, and that made the relationship very difficult. In terms of what's coming through in your future, we have some really good cards here. We have here the Two of Cups, and the Two of Cups is basically a very, very, a new person that is almost like a very strong kindred spirit to you, okay? So I feel for some of you, there might be some travels to see somebody that meets this criteria where, you don't have to communicate with them. You just look at them from across the room and they get you. And I feel like whatever whatever communications you've had, whatever incompatibilities you've had with the past person, I feel like you are meeting somebody new, and you're going to be able to like non-verbally explain yourself in a way where both parties just innately understand each other without having a lot of like back and forth, without having to over explain. They just get it. And it's linked up here with the Nine of Swords. And the Nine of Swords is like, this is what I feel. This is a card about restless nights. And when it's linked up with a positive card, it means staying up really, really late at night in order to talk to your partner, in order to communicate. If you're at a distance, it means text messaging. It means constantly, sacrificing sleep in order to be with your partner. So that's what it seems like. And then I see for some of you, this is not going to apply to all, but I feel for some of you Geminis, it feels almost as if you have a stable relationship, possibly a marriage, and there's somebody that you're meeting that you feel a kindred connection with, and you're not really sure what to do. Okay, there's a little bit of guilt usually associated with this Nine of Swords. It's kind of like worries, anxiety, excitement, guilt, all mixed together, and it can be emotionally and mentally taxing on you. So I feel like that's what's happening here. For those of you who are single, I feel like you need to get out and about in a situation where you're going to be like, I see debates, debate clubs, chess clubs. I feel like areas where there's a lot of information exchange between people who are really intelligent. And I feel like you might be called on the spot to do something. I feel like if you put yourself in that environment for this month, there's going to be a chance encounter here with a very, very special person that can, that sees eye to eye with you. Okay. For those who are single, putting yourself out there in that capacity, I feel like it's going to be very beneficial. And once again, we have here the social dating card. This is kind of like the match.com. This is going online, looking at people's profiles and pictures. When it shows up in the reverse, it seems almost as if you've narrowed down some choices. And so I feel like you have the potential here to be with somebody that can be a really good relationship partner for you. Okay. And for those of you who are in coupled relationships, I do see a little bit of ego conflict coming through within marriages and within stable relationships. Work life interfering with your relationships. Okay. So that means if you're overworking, you or your partner overworking and not prioritizing the relationship, I feel like it's going to leave room for temptation outside of the relationship, either with like other co-workers, because I see that with this card here, Three of Pentacles, temptation in the work environment. And I feel like because of that, it might destabilize your current relationship if you are neglectful of it. Okay. And then for others of you, I feel like you are trying to meet the right person. You've met somebody that is showing an interest in you. You have either left a really long standing relationship behind or a marriage behind. And I feel like you're coming into opportunities with like making new friends. And I feel like you want to keep it in the friend zone because you're not ready. But I feel like the other person might be pushing for more. So I feel like if you're dealing with, if you want to keep things a little bit more platonic, but the other person is pushing for more, you might be dealing here with a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, and Sun, Moon, or Rising. But I feel like this person is very, very caring. They have a really good heart. They want to get married. They want to have a family, and they want like, the whole traditional courtship. They're saying like very traditional. So I feel like they see a lot of potential in you to be the one. And I feel like you're hesitant because you've been out of some bad relationships. And I do sense that you're trying to, take it slow, but it feels almost as if they're rushing you. So I feel like you're putting a stop to it or you're slowing it down, but it seems like they're rushing. Okay. I'm getting somebody who's very amorous, like somebody who wants to like touch you all the time. And I feel like, as an air sign, you might not want that all the time. Air signs are not like innately sensual types of people. And I feel like too much togetherness, too much of that clingy energy, I feel like it can, it can turn you off, from a specific person, even though you like them perfectly fine. But I feel like it's a little bit too much. I feel you're a little bit claustrophobic by this person. I feel like they mean well and it can work out. And I feel like, there's this sense of a very strong soul connection, like a soulmate connection, soul connection. And then others of you, whatever relationship problems you've had, I feel like, your partner is going to show you that they are there for you and they're committed. And that, no matter what gossip is coming through, I feel like they're going to prove to you that they don't really care. They're overlooking it because they trust you. So I feel like a lot of good gestures coming through for those of you in solid relationships. A lot of strife, but also a lot of good gestures to reignite the trust and the passion and the faith in the relationship overall. So, for those of you who have, dealt with somebody in the past, especially a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, I feel like there was a lot of time and a lot of love invested. And every once in a while, you have that sense of nostalgia about that past person. But I feel like you're trying to move forward and you have some good things moving forward. You have some good, new prospects coming through for you in the future. Okay.